Video game genres make no sense. Seriously, what is this? Sports? Sports is a genre in the same way that watching my videos is a waste of time. It's not. My videos are fantastic. Look at all these stupid genres and stupid subgenres. We have to fix this. We have to clean up this mess and make it so that the Legend of Zelda series is not the same genre as the Resident Evil series. Anyone who actually thinks this system works has about as much sanity as a Destruction Derby contestant.
So today, I set the record straight. I simplified the massive list of video game genres into something we, as a disturbingly stupid species, can understand. After spending way too much time thinking about it, I decided this system would need to be modular. And then, if we just have to make this like the far inferior previous system, we can assign different, more specific names to the different combinations produced.
But first, a word from our sponsor. Me, I have paid myself to tell you to subscribe to my YouTube channel, follow my SoundCloud, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, MySpace, Facebook, podcast, and send me a friend request on Nintendo Switch because I am just very lonely. Dude, that's too much for them to remember. Just give them 2, okay? Give them 2. Okay, fine. Subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow my Twitter. Buzzkill.
In order to create this modular system, we need to figure out what attributes of a game actually matter when classifying its genre, because those bozos who think that open world is a genre are probably the same people who say that mobile gamers are true gamers. No disrespect to mobile gamers, but it's not the same thing.
If I admitted that it was, my fragile sense of self-importance that comes from wasting my life in front of a screen would be shattered, and I can't deal with that right now, okay?
Open world isn't a genre, because a game of any genre can have an open world. GTA 5, for instance, is classified by most to fit under the ever-unclear action-adventure genre, while Cyberpunk 2077, another game known for its big open-world city, is considered to be an RPG. Sandboxes are also often lumped in with this category, but no Ubisoft. Making your entire world one giant desert is not enough to classify it as a sandbox game. Same thing goes for categories like Battle Royale and sports. Graphics don't matter for this either, so I'm not going to be making any distinctions between 2D and 3D. That's like saying black and white movies are fundamentally different from color movies. Yes, I know it's a bigger difference than that, but shut up is negligible. With this in mind, I've come up with 4 categories to assign a game a particular genre. First, we need to consider the passage of time, whether the gameplay occurs in real time or if it is dependent on preset chunks, which we'll call turn-based.
Now obviously many games have elements of both, clearly created that way for no other reason than to make my job harder. The world hates me and it can all burn.
Dragon Quest XI, for instance, has real-time segments where you run around like a headless chicken, but turn-based sections during battle. In order to answer this question, you'll need to determine where the true challenge and fun of the game lies. I'd classify Dragon Quest as turn-based because not much challenge is presented in the real-time sections, at least not for a truly skilled gamer such as myself. Anyway, determine the passage of time and tack that onto the beginning of your game's genre. We're just getting started. Things are about to get messy.
But trust me, it's still going to be way better than the previous system. Trust me, definitely. I promise.
Next up, we need to discuss the characters and story of the game. Now, the way I see it, there are only 3 real options for the way playable characters are presented in the story. First, they are predetermined and completely shaped by the overarching story or developers, such as in Overwatch and Control. All you as the player are doing is carrying out their actions, and this type of character will be known as hero. Second option is where your in-game decisions mold your character's personality and or gameplay, such as in Skyrim and infamous Second Son. Though the extent to which you can change your character is extremely variable, this is the category that will be known as an RPG.
And the third option is that your character is literally just a meat puppet, like in Pokemon, or that there aren't really any characters at all, like in more abstract games like Thumper or Geometry Dash.
This final category will simply leave any mention of characters out of the genre. Now, all this depends on the development that your character receives over the course of the game, so keep that in mind when determining the new genre of your favorite game. Intertwined with this is the story, which has a couple different options by my analysis. First, a game could have no story and be solely abstract and focused on gameplay. But if there is a clear story, you'll want to determine the genre of that, as if it was a novel. In order to simplify things, I've come up with the 5 broadest genres I can think of: horror, mystery, romance, dystopia, and hero's journey.
Unfortunately, this one is called action-adventure among many writing circles, which could get extremely confusing if used to discuss video games. But Hero's Journey doesn't work properly either, because it's 2 words and that doesn't meet the flow requirements of saying the genre. I know I didn't previously mention these flow requirements, but trust me, you don't want them to be a possibility. So let's just call it Journey for the sake of simplicity. At this point, our genre looks like this: a turn-based RPG journey, or maybe a real-time hero mystery.
Makes perfect sense, right? Thought so. Now let's move on to the most important part of our genre system, the gameplay.
Now, the way I see it, there is one primary thing to consider when discussing gameplay: goals, which my life is sorely lacking.
Almost all games I've ever played can be classified as having at least one of 4 goals: destroying or fighting a thing, reaching the location of a thing, finding or exploring a thing, or figuring out a thing. Now this gets a bit complicated because there are a ton of games that have all of these goals in some quantity, like most open world games for instance. So in determining the genre of your games, you need to rank them in their prevalence.
If they are all equal or close to equal, well kids, that's what we call a Metroidvania. The genre's so indecisive, it couldn't even figure out which game to take its name from.
Otherwise, just take the most prevalent 2 from the game and chain them together. Combating a thing will fall under action. Reaching a location is a platformer. Looking for something or exploring is adventure, and figuring something out is puzzle. This is a fantastic base to work off of, and while it might not perfectly encompass everything, the modular nature allows you to add more subcategories for increased specificity. So a game could be action-adventure, puzzle-action, platform-puzzler, or adventure-action. At this point, our genre system is finished. I can't wait for the first turn-based RPG dystopian puzzle action game.
Now we have an objectively perfect system with absolutely 0 flaws. If you think there are any flaws, take it up with my lawyer. Except, I don't have a lawyer. Therefore, there's nobody for you to complain to, and I am right by default. I love the legal system.
So let's test out this for a couple games, and you should let me know the correct genre of your favorite game down there in the comments.
First up, chess. Obviously turn-based, although I imagine that a real-time version would be quite interesting. There isn't much story to speak of and no real characters, so all we need to do in order to complete the genre is determine the goals. At heart, chess is a puzzle game, as the player figures out how to checkmate their opponent's king. I thought about tacking with action elements at the end, but I gotta say, the combat system isn't very well developed, and I think I'll leave that one out for now. That leaves chess with the fairly simple genre of turn-based puzzle. Now let's try it with one of my favorite games, Minecraft. This is a bit more complicated, and it puts our system to the test, which is another reason I chose it. At its heart, Minecraft is a creation tool, so let's consider the primary survival mode, where your goal is to kill the dragon, because I'm not even going to try to tell you what genre the Hypixel server is. Obviously, Minecraft has real-time gameplay and 2 primary goals throughout the course of your journey: exploring the world for resources, and fighting things to gather resources. Given that there's an entire peaceful mode, I think it's pretty clear that the exploration aspect comes first. And as much as I'd like to say that Minecraft has the deepest story and characters of all time, it really doesn't, so that leaves us with a real-time adventure action game. Alright, one more. And this time let's do a game that actually has some story elements. So let's go with a game that has a very uncomplicated story. Portal. Was that supposed to be a joke? I'm honestly not really sure, but anyway, we need to determine the story genre and character type. Out of the 5 story genres I had, well, I think I gotta go with horror. I know it doesn't have a ton of traditional horror elements, but hear me out. You're trapped by an evil robot for the purposes of dangerous science experiments who eventually tries to kill you in the end. That seems kind of like a horror story to me. Gameplay-wise, Portal is obviously best classified as a puzzle platformer, leaving us with the very nice genre of real-time hero horror puzzle platformer. Perfect.
Now that you've gotten to see my new genrefying system in action, let me know what you think about this superior method and classify your own games in the comments. Also, suggest add-ons. This system is modular, which means we can add a bunch more categories, and if aligned correctly, everything still makes perfect sense. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn on notifications, share the video, and follow me on Twitter. And if you didn't enjoy the video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn on notifications, share the video, and follow me on Twitter. Yes, foolproof. See you next time.